This conference will now be recorded.
Did you get time to practice this code? How many of you practice this code? Yes? You did it. Okay. So I hope you understand how to handle the suggestions, nothing but Ajax calls displayed in a text box. You can also practice the same stuff on Bing or Yahoo or any other text box. You can take one example that a text box, when you accuse something, when you enter something, say we are getting a list of suggestions, how to handle the suggestions we learned in the last session. And today, let me introduce you the other component. We have completed text box operations. Now, let me teach you today how to work with drop-down list element. Working with drop-down list. Sorry, drop-down list element. So coming to drop-down list element. So first we learn component by component. We have completed the text box. We go drop-down list operation, link operation, table operation, calendar operations, keyboard, mouse operations. Then we jump into developing the actual test cases. Okay. First, let us see what is the HTML tag name used to create a drop-down list element. I'm inspecting the properties of the drop-down list element. Select a branch. This one, select a branch. So what is the HTML tag name here? You answer me. What is the HTML tag name? Select. Well said. Or take any other application, say Facebook. Any web page, whatever the technology used to construct this web page, ASP.NET, Java, Python, XYZ, browser will render the list box element into a select element, HTML select element. Let's see the properties of any one of these drop-down lists. You please observe here. So a drop-down list defined using a tag name called select. So select is a HTML tag name used to define a drop-down list element. Okay. Select is HTML tag name used to define drop-down list elements. Okay. In order to automate various operations on the drop-down list, see here, the Selenium API, these are the various predefined packages available in Selenium. In a package, selenium.support.ui somewhere, selenium.support.ui. this one. In the package selenium.support.ui, there is a class here. What is the class name? What is the class name here? In selenium.support.ui, there is a class, predefined class available. So the class name also select. See what is in this select class. See what are the methods available inside the select class. So Selenium offered select class. The select class offered some non-static methods. Non-static methods. You know, static methods are indicated with a symbol. All these are non-static methods. See, select by index, select by value, select by visible text, get options, deselect by index, deselect by visible text, deselect all. I hope by seeing this, you are observing this. You are understanding this. What is the purpose of this class? To work with a drop-down list element, to automate different operations on a drop-down list element, Selenium has provided the select class. Select class provided these many non-static functions, each function to perform a specific action on the drop-down list element. Okay. Now, to explain this concept, let me take first a simple drop-down list. No. Okay. I will do one thing. Here, first understand how programmers will create a drop-down list element in a web page. Select a course is my label. Then select either HTML tag name. I'm giving a ID property equal to course. So let's see. Break. And each item displayed in a drop-down list is an option element. Option. Option is a tag name used to define an item in a drop-down list element. Option. For every option, I can give a value property if required, which is not mandatory optional. Value. Or I said it is not mandatory optional. Option. Select. Or, I'll make it simple first. Select a course. Option. Actually, these are visible text. Because the first option I want to show in the drop-down list, select a course. The second option, I want to show, say, manual testing. Selenium Just I'm demonstrating you how generally drop-down lists are defined in a web page so that we can easily understand how to automate any kind of drop-down list. Right. Now, select is a HTML tag name used to define a drop-down list element. Option is a HTML tag name option to define items in a drop-down list. Right here. Option is the HTML tag name used to define items in a drop-down list. Okay. Well, this is what I did now here. I'll save this program in my desktop with a name demo.html, whatever, demo.html. Yes, done. Okay. This one, demo.html. I'm open with Firefox. You please observe this is the output of my code. Select Tacos is the first one. Manual testing, Selenium, QTP, Loader, whatever. So like these, generally programmers will create the drop-down list in any web page. Okay? Right. Did you understand what I did? Did you understand what I did? First, I explained you how programmers will create drop-down lists. So what is the tag name used to define a drop-down list here? Select. HTML tag name is select. Even Selenium class name also select. The Selenium class name also select. HTML tag name also select. Okay. Now, there is a optional parameter here. The programmer can define a shortcode, nothing but value property, value equal to, for example, empty. Say empty for manual testing. It's not mandatory. Programmer can define a shortcode. Say, for example, SC for Selenium. It's a value property actually. Value equal to Qt for QTP. Value property equal to LR for loader. Okay. Now, for select a course, I was not given any value property. Let me save this. See now. Again, I'm opening it. So output wise, you don't see much difference. Internally, there is a shortcode assigned that is called value property of the element. I mean, externally, you don't see any difference. So I have shown you programmer can define a value property like this. For the 4 options, the value property was defined. For the first one, select a course, there is no value property given. So value property is not mandatory, optional for the developer. Okay, okay. You answer me now, how many values I can pick at a given point of time here? How many values I can select at one given point of time? You answer me. Only one value, correct. Only one value. Supposing the programmer want to allow the end user to choose multiple values, they do like this. If the developer want to allow the end user to choose multiple value, there is a keyword called multiple. Same code, I just added a keyword multiple. I save the code. Let me refresh this page. See what happens. What happened? The end user can choose multiple values. Got it? Okay. Now, first I go with a single select drop-down list. Then I'll change the drop-down list behavior to multi-select. Now I am removing this multiple keyword. I save this. Done. So now it is a single selection drop-down list. Okay. Now let me explain the Selenium how to perform different operations of the drop-down list. What are the major operations we can do on the drop-down list? If I'm doing manual testing, I can select a value from a drop-down list. So now we are trying to automate all manual operations. The first operation here, we have to learn how to make Selenium to choose a value from the drop-down list. Selecting a value from the drop-down list. I list out all the operations here. Different possible operations in a drop-down list. What are the various possible operations belongs to a drop-down list? The first one, selecting a value from a drop-down list. We'll see one by one, but I list out what are the possible operations on the drop-down list. Then we start learning how to write the code to perform all these operations. Then counting number of items in a drop-down list. I want to count number of items present in a drop-down list. Then reading all items present in a drop-down list. I want to read all items present in a drop-down list. Okay. Then check specified item present in the drop-down list or not. Supposing a drop-down list is showing 100 cities. In all these 100 cities, somewhere Hyderabad available or not, I want to verify. A drop-down list is showing list of cities, say 100 or 200. I want to check a particular item present in the drop-down list or not. So how to check a specific item present in the drop-down list or not? Then we learn how to check all items are displayed in a specific or order or not. In a specific, meaning ascending or descending order or not. Coming to multi-selections, it is like selecting a value from a drop-down list. If it is a single select drop-down list, meaning if there is no multiple keyword, your code will select the values one by one. If the drop-down list allowing you to choose multiple value, same code will choose multiple values. We'll see this. So agreed, these are the possible operations on a drop-down list. So that we start learning one by one. Agreed? Anything else possible you tell me in a drop-down list? selecting a value from a drop-down list, counting number of items in a drop-down list, reading all items present in a drop-down list, checking a specified item present in the drop-down list or not, and checking all items are displayed in ascending or descending order or not. Correct? Right. Now, let's go one by one. First, let me start with selecting an item from the drop-down list. First, learn using writing Selenium code to pick a value from the drop-down list element. How to do this? Just a minute. Right, friends. First, I'll go with the very simple example like the drop-down list, what I have created. Later that you can practice on the Facebook or any other application, Primus Bank application. So here, this is my web page or HTML page URL. The drop-down list what I created, the demo.html URL it is. This URL I'm copying and I'm putting here, like Facebook URL. Then, when I run this code, it invokes that application. Done. Now I want to make Selenium to choose a value from the drop-down list. Say Selenium I want to choose. How it is. Now, what is the class name available here? What is the class name available in Selenium to work with a drop-down list element? Yes, answer me. Select. Correct. Select class. Now, we are seeing some methods here. Select by index, select by value, select by visible text, whatever. And now, all these are non-static methods. How to access a non-static method of a class? I want to use the select class now. How to use a non-static method belongs to a class? I want to use a non-static method, select by index or select by visible text, whatever. How to use a non-static method belongs to a class? We have to create a object for the Selenium select class. Now, I'm creating an object for the Selenium select class. I'm creating an object for Selenium select class. Hold a minute. Right. See, I'm choosing the class which is available in selenium.support.ui package. I'm creating an object for this class. Select some name. For example, course list or CList. It's my object name now. CList is my object name equal to new select. New select, this one. So what is this web element? We are trying to create an object for a class. It is asking something, web element. Already while teaching you the Java concept, I explained this. What is this is called? Web element is called, as per Java Oops terminology, what it is called? Interface, class. I'm not asking about that. A input argument for a class while creating an object for a class, it is asking one input argument. It's not a method, it is a class name. Class asking an input. Web element only we are saying that. I am asking what is that web element in this scenario, in this context. Constructor, you remember? You remember constructor. If you want to initialize a value while creating an object for the class, we have to supply a constructor. This class needs a constructor to initialize. It needs web element as a constructor. Sir, we are creating an object for what? Select class. What is the purpose of the select class? To interact with a drop-down list element. To interact with a drop-down list element. See, one web page. Okay, check out, say, Facebook application. You tell me how many drop-down lists are available in this page? How many drop-down lists are available in this page? 3 drop-down lists. Correct, correct. Okay, let's see now. Now let's see now. Let's assume this is Facebook URL. It is Facebook application URL. Now, the select class not asking any constructor. Select class not asking any constructor. For example, we created an object for the select class. What is the object name here? CList. Dot. I'm using a method select by index or whatever. Select by visible text, otherwise whatever. Select by index 0. Select the 0th item present in the drop-down list. What is the question to Selenium now? From which drop-down list it has to select? Correct? From which drop-down list it has to select? Agree with me? Did you mention from which drop-down list you have to select the first item? No, are you following me? Just we created an object for the Selenium select class, okay? I'm just asking Selenium, select the first item present in the drop-down list. Which drop-down list? There are 3. There are 3. The question to Selenium, whether to select the item from the first drop-down list or second drop-down list or third drop-down list, correct? So, while creating a select class object, as a select class designed or created to work with a particular drop-down list element, in the select class definition, there is a constructor available, web element as a constructor. So now, for which drop-down list you want to interact with, first one or second one or third one, the web element you have to supply as an input argument, as a constructor. So now, what I will do, supposing this drop-down list I am taking, second one. I'm inspecting the properties of that element. Here there is an ID property called month. There is an ID property month. So now what I will do, find element returns a web element by the ID month. So what this will do now? While creating an object for the select class, month element we have supplied as a constructor. Month element we have supplied as a constructor. Select class needs a constructor while creating an object for it. It needs some initialization. Now, this will interact with second drop-down list element. Okay, I'm giving 1 because here select by 0 meaning 0th item is month here. 1 meaning index wise 0th index is month. First index is January. Now let me run this code. Now you are clearly saying that this select class object belongs to a particular element, month element. Now your Selenium code will select the January month present in the drop-down list. Still the page loaded. You observe that? You please observe. January was selected. Now, in the year, the next one, it is the 0th index year, first index 2020. Now, the same code what I'm doing, now this time I want to make Selenium to interact with the year drop-down list. I'm inspecting the properties of this element. This one. There is an ID property here, year. I'm copying it. I want to make Selenium to interact with the another drop-down list, year drop-down list. So now we have created a select class object reference for a particular web element, year drop-down list element. Now this operation carried out on the year drop-down list element. I'll run this code. If you refer back my videos, the lastly I have explained constructor concept. What is a constructor? Constructors are used to initialize the values while creating an object class. A class needs minimum some inputs to execute that will be formed as a constructor. Still page loading, loaded. You do observe your code selected 2020, the first item. 0 is here, first item present in the drop-down list is 2020. I hope now you understand what is the need of constructor for select class object. Do confirm. I hope now you understand what is the purpose of the constructor for the select class. A page may have multiple drop-down list elements. If there is no constructor, Selenium will confuse with which drop-down list I have to interact with. So while creating an object for the select class, you must supply the drop-down list element as a constructor. Which element you want to interact with it, you have to supply. Got it? Right. Now, so I'll go with the sample I have created. Once again, it needs a web element as a constructor. Directly web element, driver.find element returns a web element, or what I can do, my variable name is element here. I'm declaring a variable element of type web element equal to driver.find element by its ID course. I hope you remember I given the ID property for my sample page as course. Check this again here. See the ID property of this sample drop-down list element. So what is the ID property here? Course. Correct? Now, we created a select class object. Here my select class object name is CList or course list. CList dot. See, there are three methods available inside the select class. Select by index, position 0, 1, 2, 3. Select by value property of the element. Select by visible text. These are the three methods available inside the Selenium select class in order to pick a value from the drop-down list. I'll write here. Selenium select class provided. What are the method names? Select by index 1 method. I hope you understand select by index. If there are 10 items present in a drop-down list, first item I want to choose, second item I want to choose, I can give the indexes like 0, 1 respectively. Another method, select by value property. You observe, if there is a value property, Previously, I have shown you the value property here. MT for manual testing, SC for Selenium. Based on the value property, if you want to make Selenium to select a value, you can choose select by value or select by visible text. Whatever the text visible, what do you mean by text visible here? QTP, Selenium, manual testing. If you want to make Selenium to choose based on the visible text, I can use select by visible text. Together, Selenium select class provided, select by index, select by value, select by visible text methods to select a value from the drop-down list. Okay, right. Now, now I'm using this time first select by index. One I'm using. You tell me by seeing this application what you mean by one. I close all the Facebook. So I teach that so that the conceptual, I'm teaching you the conceptual level so that any application you can able to automate. So I go with a conceptual level. I recommend conceptual level learning, not application level learning. Because if I teach you on Primus Bank application directly, are you going to work on Primus Bank application in future? No, right? But any drop down list, this is the concept. Any application you are going to work in future. Well, here, what do you mean by index one? I given index one here. What do you mean by index one? Its index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now your code will select manual testing. Check. I run this code. I close the applications available. Your code should select the manual testing now. See, your Selenium has selected manual testing because its index is 0, its index is 1. If you don't have an option select a course, we can choose 0 for doing manual testing. Well, now this time, I want to select based on the shortcode, which is nothing but the value property. By value I am giving. I'm giving a value SC. I hope you observe that I given, one second. SC value property for Selenium. So when I run this code, first manual testing will be selected, then immediately Selenium will be selected. Here itself, I'm using select by visible text, for example, QTP. What I will do for your observation or for your understanding, otherwise very quickly it will select the values and for next one. I'm asking Selenium wait for 2 seconds before you execute the next step, so that you observe what is happening. Right. Let me run this code. Here thread zip is not required. Otherwise, what happens? Selenium will very quickly it will select the value. We may not observe what is happening. Manual testing after seconds based on the value property Selenium, based on the visible text property QTP. So these three methods we can use to select a value from the drop-down list element. I hope you understood this one. I hope everybody understood this. Okay. What's your doubt? Somebody have posted a doubt. Somebody posted me a message. I have a doubt. There's no name displayed. Yes, was your doubt? I clarify. For all the drop-down lists, will they need the following same coding method? Yes, correct. This is what available in the Selenium. Selenium provided select class to work with a drop-down list. Any drop-down list you take, this is the way, this is the procedure. This is the procedure. You take IRCTC application, you take Primus Bank application, you take Facebook. Okay, what I will do to build your confidence, what I will do for teaching the concept, I am taking the simple example. Let me repeat the same with the Facebook application. Okay, same thing I'll repeat on the Facebook application. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'll do it on the Facebook application. Generally, that simple HTML page, why I'm creating, I hope you understand why I'm creating that. Because so that we'll understand the HTML properties of the drop-down list element, where the code can be, Selenium can be easily understandable. Swati, what is your doubt? Knowledge is required. Coding knowledge. Without coding knowledge, opting Selenium is wrong. You should have some programming conceptual knowledge. For that reason, I teach you some Java. Minimum computer awareness, programming awareness is mandatory for becoming an automation tester. No doubt about it. Automation testing meaning instead of we do that, we are making a tool to do that. Without writing the program, how you make a software to do that? It's not possible. Right. I'll write the code on the Facebook application. I want to select some date or some month and some year. Okay. So there are 3 drop-down list elements here. So what I will do to interact with the 3 drop-down list element, I'm creating my first element, D list. It's for date list equal to new select the element. Direct I'm writing driver dot find element by by its ID. I'm taking the ID property of the first drop-down list. The ID property value day here, day. Okay. Now D list dot select by index I can use, or I'll do one thing. For each one drop-down list, I'll take one method. I'm giving the index 1. You tell me if I give index 1, what is the value will be selected? You have access to Facebook application, right? You tell me, I given select by index 1, what is the value it will select? For the HTML coding knowledge, you does not require. People don't get confused. For your understanding only, I am writing HTML code. Sir, for your understanding how programmers will make it, I am writing HTML code. You does not require detailed HTML code, just how the elements are defined, that is enough. Tag name is enough. The very, very basic idea is enough. That is what I'm trying to impart you, giving to you. 1, correct. Because the first, 1 is the D, 0 meaning day, 1 meaning here also value is 1. Well, now I want to select a month, for example, based on a value property. Say I want to select October. First of all, I want to select October. Okay. What is the ID property here? Month. See, I told you, you please observe this HTML code, the HTML code I design. Did you observe any much difference? Any difference? Select is the HTML tag name. Each item displayed in a drop-down list created using a tag name called option. Value property, text property. Any drop-down list browsers will render like this. Okay. irrespective of the technology used to create a drop-down list element, browser will render into HTML code in this way. Well, now I want to make Selenium to select October based on the value property. Sir, what is the value property here? Not 11, 10. What is the value property we are seeing here? 10. So now that is second drop-down list. So what do you have to do? We have to create one more object, mlist equal to new select by the ID. Month is ID for that. I created a select class object for the second drop-down list. mlist dot, then I'm using select by value. Select by value 10. You please observe here, select by value 10. It's not index. Here they are actually months. They given the numbers. But you observed in our previous code, I given a SE, MT, LR, QT, something like that. Here the value property is 10, hence we are using value property as 10. Now, I want to select some year. So we have to create a select class object for the last drop-down list here. New select year list. There's ID property for the next drop-down list. So there's ID property here. I want to use this ID property to create a select class object. Driver dot find element by its ID year. Then while is dot, this time I'm using select by visible text. I want to select 2020. That is the visible text here. Or I want to select something like 2000, whatever it may be, 2000. Now I close this application Facebook. I run this code. We are selecting day using select by index, select by value, select by visible text. There are three options available. Which option you use, that is your choice. First see the code. 1st October 2000. You please observe it. The 1st October 2000 was selected by your Selenium code. Do confirm you understood this one. Any application, this is the procedure. Okay. See here. When to use select by index? It's very clear. It is your intelligence. When to use select by index, you tell me. If there are 10 items present in a drop-down list, I want to select the first item, whatever it may be. I want to select the first item, second item, nth item. Then I go for select by index. If there are some value short codes available, based on the short code, I want to pick a value, then I go for select by value. If I want to select based on the visible text, one student posted a question, if random numbers, see, if random, leave it. We have the values displayed, right? Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, somewhere displayed. So what I will do, I'll go with the visible text. Select by visible text, Hyderabad. Wherever it is present in the drop-down list, your Selenium code is going to pick it. Wherever Hyderabad is available out of 100, your Selenium going to pick it based on the visible text. See, they have given the option. Your drop-down list has 100 items. I want to choose the 10th item, whatever it can be. I go with select by index. For every item, there is a short code because the item description is very lengthy value. I want to go for short code. If there is a value property available defined in the HTML code, I go with select by value. Or I want to select a Hyderabad wherever it is present, maybe 0th position, middle position, or last position. Select by visible text. That's it. Got it? Now, if it is a multi-selection, there is no change in the code. If there is a multi-selection, there is no change in the code because first item selected, second item selected, third item selected. That's it. If there is a multi-selection drop-down list, code is same. First, what I will do, I will put this example in the notepad. I'm copying this. This you can practice. This one example giving you how to use all the above methods, 3 methods. Let's see. A multi-selection drop-down list. Okay. The previous example. Because in the Facebook, we don't have an option to choose multiple values. The simple list box, what I have created, I'm opening this one. Now I want to display multiple selection. If programmer want to allow multiple selection, they use a keyword multiple. I said. I save this. Now this is multi-selection drop-down list. Okay, it's multi-selection drop-down list now. There is no change in your code. Let's see now. CList dot select by index 1 I am doing. CList dot okay, select by index 2 I am giving. Any method we can use, right? Just we are trying to understand multi-selection. First one, also next one. Let me run this code. See, the 2 items are selected. See, manual testing, Selenium, both are selected. Now, here I use select by visible text. Select by visible text QTP I'm using. So select by index 1, that is manual testing. Select by visual text QTP. So manual testing and QTP will be selected. Both will be selected. Did you observe? Both are selected. See now what I will do. I'm not changing my Selenium code. I'm not doing any changes in my Selenium code. The same drop-down list, I'll make it as a single select drop-down list. The same drop-down list, I'm making it as a single selection drop-down list. Okay. Now the drop-down list is a single selection drop-down list. Check this one. It's a single selection drop-down list. The same code I will run here. The same code I will run this time. You tell me what happens. You guess and answer me what happened. What happens? It will select the first value and immediately it will select the second value. But only one value will be displayed here. See, manual testing 2db, because it is not a multi-selection. While selecting the second value, it replaces the first value with the second value. So finally, selecting multiple values, there is no change in the code. Hope you understood this. Okay. So today we learned how to select a value from the drop-down list element. I hope this topic is clear. You practice this on any example, that is your option. Please do confirm this topic is understood, right? You take Facebook or any web application you take, it should be a select class, that's it. It should be a select object, that is drop-down list object. So I'll upload this into the drive for today. So today only one topic we have learned related to drop-down list, how to select a value from the drop-down list, the basic stuff. I stop here today, and tomorrow we continue the remaining operations. Like rest of all the operations are simple, because first we have to understand the basic clearly. So that's very slowly I have explained. This is very simple. Tomorrow we'll go with this. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.